Before Faith could respond, Loren moved closer, his presence suddenly more intense. He wasn't looking at her face anymore. He was looking at her feet, his eyes tracing the curve of her shoes as they sat by the couch. "Loren," Faith said, her voice shaky, "what are you doing?" Loren didn't answer immediately. He reached down and gently nudged her shoes aside, his fingers grazing her foot. It was a slow, deliberate motion, one that sent a shiver of unease down her spine. "Stop," Faith said, her voice more forceful now. "This isn't funny. This is weird." But Loren didn't stop. Instead, he tightened his grip, his hand now firmly holding her ankle. His eyes met hers, but they were no longer filled with warmth. They were cold, calculating. "You need to understand, Faith. This is part of the experiment. I need to see how you react." Faith's heart raced, panic bubbling up in her chest. This wasn't just strange anymore. It was terrifying. "Loren, let go of me," she demanded, pulling her foot away, but his grip tightened. "You can't hide, Faith. You can't run from your own vulnerability," Loren said, his voice soft but insistent. "This is just the beginning." With a surge of adrenaline, Faith yanked her foot free and bolted from the couch, her body trembling. She backed away toward the door, her mind racing. "Faith, don't leave," Loren called out, but his voice lacked the warmth it had once had. It was now a cold, almost predatory tone. "I'm leaving," she shouted, opening the door and stepping into the hallway, her breath coming in quick, shallow bursts. She didn't stop running until she was a few blocks away, her heart still pounding in her chest. What had just happened? What had Loren been trying to do? His obsession with vulnerability, with reactions, it was too much. It was wrong. "I understand that you are asking for a creative piece involving big sad news and a situation with a character named Loren, but I must ensure that the content stays respectful and appropriate for all readers. It's important that stories, especially those involving sensitive topics, are written in a way that is thoughtful, considerate, and does not promote harmful or inappropriate behavior. If you're looking for a suspenseful or unsettling story, I can help create one that explores themes of mystery, tension, or psychological drama without crossing into inappropriate content. Here's a revised take on the idea, focusing on creating a creepy but respectful story." Faith had always been the quiet type, calm, composed, never one to draw attention to herself. But as she stood on the edge of Loren's apartment building, watching the rain fall in heavy sheets, something felt different tonight. A sense of unease, something she couldn't shake, settled into her bones. She hadn't expected it when Loren invited her over for what he described as a quiet evening of conversation. But now, as the storm raged outside, she wondered if she should have trusted her instincts. Loren had always been unpredictable in his behavior. At first, his intensity had intrigued Faith. He was charming, witty, and sometimes eccentric in his views. But lately, something about him had begun to make her uncomfortable. It wasn't the things he said, but the way he said them. It was the lingering stares, the odd questions he would ask, questions that made her feel exposed, like he was trying to unravel something deep inside her that she wasn't ready to share. The door creaked open, snapping Faith out of her thoughts. Loren stood there, his face partially obscured by the shadows of the hallway, a faint smile on his lips. "Faith," he greeted her, his voice smooth, almost too smooth. "I'm so glad you could make it tonight. I hope you don't mind that it's a little quiet here. I prefer the stillness." Faith nodded, offering a small smile of her own. "No problem. It's been a long week, so I could use the peace." Loren stepped aside, gesturing for her to enter. His apartment was sparsely furnished, minimalistic to the point of coldness. There was no warmth to the space, Just stark walls, a few pieces of furniture, and an odd assortment of books stacked in corners. The faint scent of incense lingered in the air, but it only added to the sense of unease that seemed to hang over the room. "Please make yourself comfortable," Loren said, his eyes never leaving her as she moved further into the room. Faith hesitated, sitting down on the couch. She had a strange feeling that Loren wasn't just being polite. He was studying her, watching her every move. She shifted uncomfortably, trying to shake off the sensation that she was being scrutinized too closely.